All right, Dr. West, thanks so much for being on the Friends with Wheels podcast. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, first question is tell the audience a little bit about you and how you started.
Yeah, so I'm a OBGYN here in the state of Michigan. I came here for residency and then stayed. I'm originally from Hawaii. So I basically got in residency, barely any of us really get any menopause education. And a few years ago, I had picked up a book and realized how terrible I was doing at taking care of this patient population. And I had made a video about this, about how I always was, told that I listened and that's great, but I wasn't treating these women the way they really needed to. And it made me realize how much of a disservice I was doing. And I realized that I had this huge gap in my education. And I went and I have been trying to remedy that ever since.
hmm So tell me a little bit about what you do as an OBGYN.
Yeah, I am a full scope generalist. So that means I deliver babies, I do hysterectomies, I tie people's fallopian tubes. I also see people in the office and basically do everything that a generalist does. I work at a level one trauma center, and so we do a lot of high risk obstetrics as well. My clinic in the past couple years has really been changing to mainly menopause and perimenopause because I think that once your name gets out there, these patients are like searching for the person who's going to help them. And so, yeah, I'd say like 80% of my office is now just perimenopause and menopause, but the rest of my career is full scope OBGYN generalist.
hmm So what was your sort of source of inspiration that made you want to get into to be an OBGYN?
I totally thought that I was going to be like a sports medicine doctor. That's what I thought I was going to do. Was a massage therapist in college. It's how I kind of helped put myself through college. And it was my very first day on my OB rotation where there was a patient having twins, and there ended up being an emergency C-section of the second twin. And it was crazy and it was chaotic. And for whatever reason, it was like the clouds parted and the angels sang. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I
hmm
realized on that rotation, I was going home and I was like super excited to learn more and read more. And I tried to like other things because OBGYNs, like, our schedules are insane. Like, it's days, it's nights, it's 24 hours, it's all over the place. And if you don't want to work nights and weekends and holidays, then it's not a good career. So I tried to like something else and I nothing did it.
hmm And so like when you're working with patients, what sorts of things do you do as an OBGYN? Like how do you make sure that patients have the care that they need, the resources they need?
Yeah, one of the things that is very important to me that I think a lot of people who work in healthcare forget is I always ask patients when they come in and they have concerns and complaints, I always say, what's your goal here? Because it should never be my assumption that just because someone comes in and has a complaint, that I know what it is they're actually looking to get out of the visit. And sometimes because you've taken care of thousands of people and you've heard the same story multiple times. But a lot of times you get surprised, and sometimes people just want the education and they don't want a treatment plan, or sometimes some people don't want a part of a treatment plan. And so I always try to ask why. What is it they're looking for? And I think a lot of people in healthcare forget to ask people what their goals are, because that's the thing. That's the thing that we're there for, is to help people achieve the goals as healthy and as hopefully evidence-based as possible.
hmm Now on social media, do you post a lot of OBGYN related content? Because I've seen a couple of your videos. So,
Yeah, so it's mainly perimenopause, menopause, like kind of like midlife education. It's an area where there's a lot of misinformation. That we've got like the one hand where it's like hormones are terrible and going to kill you, and then you've got the other that's like hormones fix everything. It doesn't matter what's wrong with you. You should get an estrogen patch, and the truth is obviously somewhere in the middle. So I started. That's where I started, was just kind of perimenopause education. And then I got this whole fire under me to start fighting misinformation. And so that's been the thing that I try to focus on as well.
hmm so is that so? Because like because content, I get what you're saying. Like content creation, you create content not just to inform people, to
Yeah.
like you said, like make people clear of what the facts are, that kind of stuff. So it's really cool what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm trying. It feels super uncomfortable still. I started last August, September. Um, Still trying to figure out like how to post things correctly and like all that, but it seems like it's going okay.
That's good to hear. So like, what have you learned in doing this kind of work?
I think I I laugh because I've made some really good friends through social media. People who I haven't actually really met in real life, but like text constantly and supporting each other and, bouncing ideas off each other. And it's a really supportive, well, some is a really supportive niche, right? It's people that are trying to put themselves out there for whatever reason. And so that's been great. The flip side to that is the once you start hopefully making a little bit of a difference, you start then to get the energy and the attention of some of the naysayers. And so I've had some kind of weird interactions with like some wellness influencers who spread a lot of misinformation. That's been strange. Like the actual like personal attacks that you're like, oh, Chica, you calm down.
Yeah.
Your anger
So,
towards me is very unjustified.
hmm And so how do you handle those types of critics or those naysayers? Do you just like ignore them or do you like say, yeah, whatever?
I will say the first one I got, she's a big wellness influencer from Canada. She's got like over 1 million followers. And I laughed really hard because she was very angry at me. And it was very like she had very obviously like never watched any of my other videos. And it made me laugh. And the next thing I was like, I made it.
Hmm
Like I'm getting under the skin of the people that are spreading the misinformation. Now, on the flip side to that is sometimes you get comments where people just really truly don't understand the evidence, but they're also not willing to learn and they're not willing to look at it.
hmm
And so that's that can be really frustrating because there's a lot of weird like misinformation about like how doctors are paid and how we interact and there's absolutely problems within healthcare. I'm the first one of the first people to be like United States healthcare can be trash, right? And there's a whole host of different reasons for that. Um, but with that being said, like some people just they don't want to learn. They're happy with where they are and that's it. And it's just not who I am as a human being. I started out thinking I was going to be a naturopathic doctor. My mom is super anti-vaccine. And then I went to medical school and learned science, and the whole huge shift had to happen in my brain. And so I had to re-examine what I thought and what I believe because I then learned science. Um, because that's not what I was brought up with. And I was willing to make that shift. And it's amazing how many people are not, despite what they're actually shown.
hmm what's sort of like your goal in like putting the social media platform out there, creating content like this? Like what's sort of like your end goal to this? Because when I started my podcast, my goal was to inform people about disability related topics and themes. So what's it? What was in it for you? What was your end goal to doing this?
Initially, it kind of started because I'm starting a telehealth company that focuses on perimenopause and menopause. And I was like, if I'm going to be out there, I'm going to start this company. Like, people are going to look for you. Oh, I should put out some information. And I started doing that. And then it completely morphed in the past few months to like, let's fight the misinformation. I am someone who, like, I've got a decent thick skin. I'm ready to go. Like, let's have this conversation. I'm ready to have that fight. And so that's what it's morphed into
Mm-hmm.
because the misinformation literally does harm.
Mm-hmm. It does. So my next question is, what do you still hope to learn in terms of something new? Do you want to focus on creating OBGYN content, or like what sort of your goals that you want to set forth that you want to go like maybe I'll dive into this more, or maybe I'll look into this.
It's really more of just about that learning the new evidence. There is so much evidence within this area specifically. And so because I'm an OBGYN, I don't have a lot of knowledge basically because I haven't worked in like primary care or any of that. And it's been a long time since I did a rotation through any of those areas. So like I'm not good at like managing your osteoporosis. I'm not good at managing your cholesterol. And so one of the things that I would like to do is go and get lifestyle medicine certified because I have my own ideas of what all of that means and my own information of like research that I've done for myself. But I need to expand my knowledge in those areas to then continue to like spread that information as well.
Mm-hmm. So are we talking like more holistic wellness or like
So lifestyle medicine is more about like the diet, the exercise, all of that type of stuff as well. As far as the holistic medicine, I grew up in that world. I know that world very, very well. And I can take it. And sometimes it's amazing and appropriate, and sometimes it's absolutely wrong.
hmm And like when you went into medical school, like what was sort of your class that you sort of looked at and thought, maybe I want to be an OBGYN someday. Maybe I want to dive into this more. Was there something like that?
I literally didn't, it never crossed my mind that I was going to be an OBGYN until I started my rotation. Like it never crossed my mind in any way, shape, or form until I was like in the operating room, in the chaos, and surprised myself.
hmm And so for those who want to do what you're doing, become an OBGYN, what can they do? What sorts of tips, advice do you have for few up and coming OBGYNers? I don't know if that's a word, but
It is now. So the thing with the field is it's changing a lot. OBGYNs, 20 years ago, it used, and in some areas of the country, it used to be that like you are on call 24/7 and you have your patients in the office and then you go and deliver them in labor and delivery and you take care of them. That's not how it is a lot of different places, and so you've still got areas of the country where that's where it is, like, and it tends to be like smaller hospitals. So I think a lot of people get worried and afraid of becoming an OBGYN because they're like, I'm never going to be able to have a life, and that's not true. You can really set up your career how you want, and the thing that's also nice is you can change your career depending on where you are. So, for example, my hospital, you could do outpatient only, where you're working in the office. You go to the operating room. You could do inpatient only, where you're working labor and delivery and taking care of whatever in the ER. And then you don't really have all of the office and the inbox and the questions. There's something for everybody. And it just depends on how you want to look at your career. Because a lot of times when you talk like the old school people, they're like, you're going to work forever and you're going to work every holiday and every night. And that's not necessarily true. Now, you're definitely going to work nights and you're definitely going to work some holidays if you work any call, but it's not how it used to be.
hmm it's that work-life balance, right?
Yeah, and that's what we're kind of focusing on. And so sometimes patients, there's a flip side to that, right? Because sometimes patients are going to want the doctor that took care of them their entire pregnancy to deliver them. But the reality is like I have a 2.5-year-old. I can't be on call 24/7. That just literally doesn't work. And so there's been a huge shift within the field in the past, probably 10 years.
hmm And for those who want to look up more information about you or what you do, what can they do?
So my social media is Dr. Sian West, and Sian is spelled Sian. My mother's from Scotland. It's a Gaelic, it's Welsh spelling, and so people are always like Cyan, same. So it's just Sian, but Dr. Sian West, and so you can find me, Dr. Sian West, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's Dr.Sian.West. Kind of annoying that someone already had my name, but anyways, I also have a website that's just Dr. Sian West, and Doctor is just Dr.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll make sure to add that in the show notes.
Great.
Okay.